Hi there, Aquarius Sun and Rising. It's Raina here, and I have three things I want you to know for the rest of 2025. Now, there's more than three, but just bear with me because I didn't want to make like this massive reading. I just wanted to kind of give you a little teaser for some of the important events that are coming up so you have something to look forward to. Number one, Jupiter is going into Cancer on June 9th, and that is your sixth house. The sixth house is the house of work, it's the house of health, and it's the house of your daily routine. This is Virgo's domain, so it's an earth house, so it deals with practical matters. And Jupiter going into this particular sector, because one of the things about Jupiter being the planet of luck and expansion, it can increase your opportunities to work. And when I say work, it could be, earning money, but it could be volunteer work as well. Maybe some people are into that. And in terms of health matters, you may experience good health during this transit. So I don't know exactly when it's going to go into Leo, but I do know that the transit of Jupiter altogether is typically a year, 13 months, so 12 or 13 months. So we can say until maybe next June or July of 2026. And maybe you're going to experience an increase in your health. If you have any kind of lingering issues or anything comes up, you may be able to find a health practitioner that is on point for you. The way I differentiate the 6th and the 10th houses is that the 6th house to me is the grunt work. So let's say you're a nurse. Your 10th house is the profession of being a nurse and the accolades, the glory of that. The status that you hold because of that, or the reputation that you have because of whatever achievements you've attained. The 6th house is the work itself. So that can indicate certain things. Now, for Jupiter, the work itself might even have a spiritual connotation or a travel connotation. Jupiter rules the 9th house in astrology of long distance travel in part, but also it's the God house, so any kind of religious theme. So you might be doing work in those areas. Maybe you're a digital nomad because Jupiter can represent freedom. And you don't have to you're free from an office cubicle, because the 6th house can also be the office itself. If Jupiter is in that 6th house, maybe the world is your office. And another thing I always like to say is more work than you know what to do with. I always I read so much and I, listen to a few astrologers that I'm always like, okay, did I make this up or did I hear somebody else say it? So whatever. I'm not going to take credit for that, but yeah. I do say it regardless if I made it up. So if that's something that is feeling good for you, I think that is going to be good money-wise, because it could suggest if you're in between careers, if you're in a stage right now where you're not sure what it is you want to do, then at least you can earn money to pay your bills, and that's pretty important. So anyway, that's what I can think about the 6th house and this Jupiter transit. Number 2, your ruler Uranus goes into Gemini on July 7th. I have here in parentheses 7th. Yeah, I should have put, it shouldn't be parentheses. but on July 7th, and it's going to be in your 5th house, which is the house of love and creativity, but also your hobbies. First of all, because it's your ruler, Aquarius, it's something to pay attention to, because this is a big deal. Uranus has been in Taurus for years now. I believe it was either 2017 or 2018 that it went into Taurus. So the fact that it's going into Gemini is huge. And Gemini is a fellow air sign. So that forms a harmonious angle called a trine to your sun or ascendant. Now, in the 5th house, Uranus here can make, one of the ways this can play out is that you may fall in love, and it's like love at first sight. Uranus is like this very sudden type of a thing. Sometimes we can describe it as erratic, but it can also be like a suddenness, whether it's a sudden entrance or departure. So that could be something like it's electric, it's electrified. And I think somebody told me that the symbols, those jagged, whatever you call them, like sideways Z's, that they're actually like lightning strikes or something, which I think is kind of interesting. That makes sense. But, usually lightning is kind of like wider zigzags. But yeah, I need to look that up, I guess. So when I talk about electricity, it's like when somebody looks at someone and it's like they know they're their soulmate, or they remember them from a past life, or even if it's neither one of those, it's like some sense of knowingness about, like, I'm going to marry this person, or I'm going to spend the rest of my life with this person. That stuff happens, and it can happen instantaneously. So if you're looking for love, that could be a really great thing. Plus, it might even be that you meet a significant person in the next 7 years or so that is an Aquarian, that is a love interest. Wow, 2 Aquarians together. Of course, if you're Aquarius rising, you could have any sign as your sun sign. You could have Taurus, But I mean, if you are a sun sign Aquarius and you meet another Aquarius, what would that relationship be like? Probably very free. This can be a good situation for people who want to be free. Maybe you have been married and you're getting divorced, and you just want to kind of play the field, or you just want to be like a free agent, just to have fun and not even have any kind of obligations whatsoever in your love life. Maybe you experiment with, I don't want to say polyamory, because that can actually be a committed relationship with more than one person, but some kind of like thing where you're just kind of, like I said, like playing the field, and you're just doing your own thing, and you're really like consciously doing this. It's not just a reactionary thing. You just want to. Also, there might be something where you take your art, because 5th house is creativity, and you bring it online, and maybe you're going to sell it online, and who knows, maybe you'll really hit it big. Number 3, Pisces lunar eclipse, happening on September 7th, but don't think that it has to be on the 7th that this is going to necessarily occur. But this is going to be in your 2nd house of earned income. Now, you've already had one of these puppies. Okay, you had one last September. So once again in September, you're having another lunar eclipse in Pisces in your 2nd house of earned income. So how will this play out? Did anything happen last September or in that space of, a month before, maybe 6 months afterwards. Did anything change with your finances? This is the money that you earn. I feel like the lunar eclipse, one of the big ones can be a breakthrough. Somebody who's like, let's say they have their own business and they're trying, and then all of a sudden the floodgates open, they get their first sale, and then they start getting sales. Or the other thing can be the person who is afraid to necessarily let go of a source of income, maybe their main source of income, because it's retirement time for them, or they're thinking about it. And so they have the situation handled on their behalf by the universe. And the reason that these things happen is because eclipses are fated. This isn't your garden variety new moon or full moon. In this case, it wouldn't be a full moon. It's not something like, you typically, some people do rituals and they're really trying to work with that energy. It's really about accepting the energy. And there's a big difference in how that feels. The person who is, fighting against something, that's going to be, I think it's going to be more rocky if somebody is like afraid of the change. And who knows, maybe it won't even, you won't even know like what exactly it did, because, you had one of these before. If you're still working and your finances seem the same as always, then, what can I say? But sometimes it may, maybe something, I think it could increase your finances. I don't think it's always going to be that it's going to decrease your finances, but it could change them either way. And you're a fixed sign. So even though Uranus is an erratic planet and unpredictable, that's the paradox of Aquarius, is part of that contradictory tendency that you have, where you're like, I don't want this change, don't, give me change. I want to have things kind of the way that they were, because all fixed signs kind of have that same reaction to events. But it's always funny when it happens to Aquarius based on what you're supposed to be about. So anyway, so there's that. So that's what I have for you, Aquarius. I hope that you're looking forward to these things and other things that are happening. And stay tuned for my next horoscope for the month ahead. Thank you for listening. If you'd like a private reading, I have package deals and single readings in different areas. Please click the link below for more information. Bye.